Hello, listeners, and welcome back to ND 5.18. And as always, I am your host, Ender. I would like to welcome you to a new series on the channel called Playstyle Spotlighting. And to start it all up, we shall begin with the value player. Now, many of you may know the value player by the philosophy, the almighty dollar leads the way. Now, that is kind of a misnomer, but it all ties into the one thing about the value player, the money. Because to be a value player, you need to have the most pushed and strongest cards out there, which gives them the other name, the money pile. Now, let's begin. Pile is a deck that, you just threw a bunch of cards that you liked that were really strong together, and it made a pile. And as now you know, they can be called a money pile or a value pile. Okay? And it's the reason it even gets those words because those are the most pushed cards. The strongest cards are out right now, in whatever colors they are. And all those cards are expensive. Like right now, there's a card, I want to say it's called Sheoldred of the Apocalypse, the 4-mana one. Worth like $90 right now. One copy of it. So money equals value, fam. That is what it is. Now, to transfer that over to a commander, that means that you want to see every card in that 99. You want to play spells that people like disregard because they cost too much. Okay? That's what you want. You want that cheddar. You want that value. Not that it can even be some great value. Let's get it. So in 6-card formats, that can be at the stakes here, drawing multiple cards per turn, multiple land drops. Just every card that you play gonna make people look at you and be like, why? Why is this in your deck? Why? And I'm not even talking about like the favorite cards. I mean, like, literally, these are threats that need to be answered in order for you to continue to play the game. Okay, now getting back to it. These are examples of good value cards. Okay? Now this top row, value cards that are banned in certain formats. Some of them are banned in multiple, some of them are banned in only a few. I'm gonna leave that up to you to. And then on the second row, they're not banned at all. Now let's look at this top row first off. Field of the Dead. This card right here just makes playing a land card a game win condition. It's stupid. It's super strong. You can ramp into it. It is out of this world. Then there's Golos. This boy got himself banned real quick. Cause guess what they were doing? They were playing Golos to go get Field of the Dead. And that's not even saying anything about his little activated ability at the bottom. Like this dude is just cracked. He's good. Then we got Expressive Iteration. Red and blue, they have some of the best filtering. Like, it is downright despicable the type of things that they can get away with. Then there's the Stupid Monkey, Ragavan. I hate this card so much. I remember back when he ran, like, he takes from your deck, you all. He takes from his opponent's deck, meaning that the player doesn't even have to play their cards anymore. They can just keep playing Ragavan, stealing from your deck, and boom, win using your cards against you without having to waste their resources. It is one of the most despicable abilities ever. But to explain to you why Expressive Iteration is so bad, just look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, one of them on the bottom of your library, and one to exile. You may play the exile card this turn. That may seem simple and easy for you, but if you realize that it gave you 2 out of those 3 cards, and it gave you filtering on the third one, that's just broken. Because it's too good in this very short game speed games that are now commonplace. Like this one card can set you up to lose on turn like 5 or 6, depending on your format. Oh my god. And now let's get to the non-banned ones. I'm gonna skip this walking spaghetti monster Omnath and his stupid, strong, simple abilities based around landfall. If you haven't understood by now, playing lands is a way to get exorbitant freaking value. Look. When he enters the battlefield, you draw a card. When you play a land, right, you gain 4 life. If this is the first time, okay, good job. If this is the second time, you get 4 mana. If it's the third time, it deals 4 damage to each opponent and each planeswalker you don't control. This man ramps you. This man gets you a card. This man hurts your opponents. And it's just about playing lands. You just keep playing lands. Meanwhile, look at Jodah. He's a 4 mana with flying, right? No, you pay 5 mana, 1 of each color. Every single thing in your hand, in your deck, costs that. A 15 cost? Like 15 mana? No, 5. 10 mana? 5. Everything, 5. Enjoy it. Then you got Tulane. See, I love these colors, but my goodness. Vigilance. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. Then you can put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. Oh, you noticed something, y'all? That land again, right? Lands are value. Stressing that to you all. If you want to be a value player, this is your bread and butter. Now, finally, we have Atraxa, the newest version. The old version, broken. Been broken ever since it ever came out. Like, it's just, it runs its own thing. I chose this one because, once again, because it is the newest version of it, but they're just using it to go get value, put the value in your hand, and then it just keeps going. To be a value player is about spiraling out of control and loving the ride. This is a roller coaster, and you pay top dollar for your seats. Now, Atraxa says, in the battlefield, reveal the top 10 cards of your library. For each card type, you may put a card of that type from among the revealed cards into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Seems simple, right? Doesn't seem that bad. Let me tell you, my friends, people just use it to get broken stuff into their hand. But to get back on track, to be a value player, these are the questions you have to ask yourself. Number 1, do you like to draw cards? You wouldn't have clicked this video if you didn't. Number 2, would you rather do something amazing or win? What you do amazing is going to be the reason you win anyway, so don't worry about that. And number 3, do you want to stop your opponent or further your own plan? The best version of the game is solitaire. I'm answering all these questions from the mindset of a value player. So these are not my personal feelings on it. But if those answers and these questions match up for you, congratulations. You're one of these despicable for the value players. Now, let's get to the elements of value. Starting with incidental greatness. So, when you're adding cards to your deck, vanilla is not for you. You don't want that plain Jane. No. You need enter the battlefield effects, aka ETBs. You need DTs, which are death or leave the battlefield triggers. That is what's going to make your value the best it can be. Okay? If your cards aren't drawing you cards or giving you additional land drops, send it back. Does a card gain you life? Good for you. Okay? You need it to gain you life, get you a counter, make you a sandwich, give you a foot massage. If it doesn't, send that back. Okay? Incidental greatness is still great. Now, valuable colors. Primarily value is green. Hashtag green got you. But it's most of the time paired with blue because those are some of the best value generating color combinations out there. Don't worry, I'm going to be doing a video on that color combination soon. Now, a real value deck though, some really good value is 3 or more colors. Okay. Yes, you will need green for additional ramp unless you a spell slinger. You might just be able to do it without it. You know, some people can manage it. Some, hell, you might say, I'm better than all that. I don't need colors anyway. Go down the Artifact or Eldrazi path. And for those who don't know, Eldrazi are spaghetti noodles. Yeah, that's them. Spaghetti noodles. Take my word for it. Now, here are some examples of the big value cards that you might want to add in your deck. From the Blatant Thieveries, which lets you take control of a target permanent from, each player. For the Ultimatums, which is this entire cycle. All of them are good in their own way, depending on the deck that you want to build. To the Rise of the Dark Realms, which is put all creature cards from all graveyards onto the battlefield under your control. Yes, that means with their ETBs and DTs as well. And then there is the Whirlwind Thought. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, draw a card. And then there's Song Creation, which lets you play an additional land each turn. Whenever you cast a spell, you draw 2 cards. Downside is, at the beginning of your end step, you have to discard your hand. So it's just stringing things together for a combo win. Then there's just Kenrith, who is a good value engine and commander all by himself. All of these things are pretty much like a buffet for a value player. And if any of these cards catch your fancy, hell, build a value deck. You might like it. And now it's time for a lot of people's favorite portion of this, the risk assessment. Now, as you can see, there actually are very little. For a value player, your strengths are, there's nothing restricting your deck building. You're not holding yourself to a tribe. You're not holding yourself to some theme. You're just playing good stuff. And that's all you have to do. Enjoy it. And yes, another one is you're prone to be the most powerful deck at the table. What can you do when someone rolls up playing 4 or 5 colors with an engine that is just, you better hope you have the removal. If not, I'm gonna have a good time. That's value right there. It really just fun roulette. You never know what's gonna happen. You just know it's gonna be big and it's gonna be flashy. Now it's time for your weaknesses. Your deck does tend to misfire. You might draw way too much attention to you way too quickly. You might pop off randomly where you were not really prepared for it. It just happened. You just rode the whirlwind with it. The deck does tend to be expensive. You can build it whatever way you want to, but the whole nature of being a value player is getting the most for your buck, which means the decks do tend to be pretty pricey. Especially when it comes to the packages. And I even put a little, boom, asterisk up there to show you what packages are. They're groupings of cards, like multicolor lands, that you need to run effectively. And the more colors you have, that tends to be one of the more expensive portions of the deck building. No. And those are the risk assessments, people. Now, my personal favorite, the tips and advice. And up here, I have some cards that you value players may want to take note of. Be it Destiny Spinner, which is creatures and enchantment spells you cast can't be countered. It's really good. For those of you who run enchantments, I'll let you read that bottom part. To Thrix, the Sudden Storm. Spells you cast with converted mana cost 5 or greater, cost 1 less and can't be countered. To Veilstone Amulet. Whenever you play a spell, creatures you control can't be the target of spells or abilities this turn. Yes, if you play an instant on their turn, that also works. To Overmaster, which protects your 1 combo spell before you pop off. To just good old-fashioned Progenitus. The good old days of Magic right there, y'all. Look at that. That's a beauty. Like, protection from everything. Too bad it's only a 10/10. If they reprinted that now, just imagine how big it'd be. Sorry, I'm sidetracked. So boom, tips and advice. Number 1, counter spell prevention and protection packages. You need it. You just need it. You can't be all about the, the value, the wow you. The money pile needs to be able to pop off to get the most for your buck. And counter spell prevention and protection packages are the way to do it. Finding your flavor of value. What's fun? What do you find fun? And go with that. Then there's your mana curve and your ramp packages, which a lot of players, especially new players, have a hard time making and getting into it like that. But lucky for you, tucked here in the recesses of the slides, I have one that explains mana curve. And a lot of people not even gonna realize it though, because to do that, you need to make it this far into the video. For those of you who do see this and hear this, thank you. So let's get to it. Now, let's get to this mana curve. Now, barring the 0 to 1 mana value artifacts known as mana rocks that make mana, like for example, Soul Ring here, pay 1, make 2. The mana curve / ramp progression of your deck should follow a simple 1, 3, 5, or 2, 4, 6 pattern. You can do this. It doesn't have to be centered in green, but I find that showing exactly what I'm talking about in green can give you the best way to go about it. Now, as you know, green is land ramping, white is catch up ramping, red is treasure ramping, blue is just, honestly, it's just artifacts. I don't know. I'm gonna say it's artifacts for this video, but if you can tell me how blue ramps outside of those one-off spells that make your islands tap for more than one in a turn, let me know. Okay, black literally could just pay their life for mana. I don't see people really exploiting that like they should be, but that is what black can do. And yeah, that's how you do your mana curve. You can read these cards to get you some more, thought out options for your ramping packages, especially Ranger's Path. Because please take note, it says forest, not basic land, just forest in general. So really read those ramps cards that do say just get land, because it doesn't limit you to basics. And yeah, this is your ramp package. Little breakdown in the value player spotlighting. There you go. Now it's time for the conclusion, everybody. I done built this up. I done highlighted the cards that you may like to play in value. I've explained the philosophy of value. Just remember these things. Take the ETBs and the def triggers and double it, triple it, quadruple it, copy it, flip it, bop it, slap it. Do whatever you can, man. Just have fun being the best value player you can be, the best player you can be. And do the same thing for ramping. Steal the value from others, clone it, copy it, treat this like a game of bop it. The table came for a show and they didn't know it was your show, but this is the performance of a lifetime. Do your best, enjoy yourself. Thank you all for tuning in for another edition of the ND 5.18 playstyle spotlighting. This is number 1, and I will go through a number of these. I have a number in my head right now, but I'm still determining what all is going to make it out. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did like this video, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, share with a person you think is a value player. And just remember, live your best life and be well. This is Ender signing off. Goodbye.